If it's undercovered, underreported, or a waste of time, you can be sure we'll be heard. Nothing is off limits.
Welcome to Broad Street Radio.
Welcome to Broad Street Radio. I'm Michael Morris with my buddy John Meanick, and on the ones and twos off screen, Nathan Schoner. Nathan, how are you?
Good.
That's all we need from you today.
Yep.
Johnny, what we're going to do is what we like to call a little catch-all, a little bouillabaisse, if you will, of everything going on in the news, kind of catching people what's going on. And you have a hot button topic that I think relates right into where we want to go.
Yeah, so I think you wanted to talk about Biden shaking hands with invisible people.
First of all, what I wanted to talk about was death, destruction, and everything else. And I thought this was a beautiful segue into it.
Well, yeah, so my point was that maybe he's getting treated by Dr. William Husel. That's why he's shaking hands with people you can't see. Did they make a movie about that with Bruce Willis and a little kid? Something about
which one was
seeing
that?
Dead people.
Oh, I thought you meant The Fifth Element. That movie sucks.
Are you kidding me?
Great. That
was
amazing.
a great
I'm just
movie.
kidding. No, it's fucking terrible. Don't watch that.
Gary Oldman should have won.
First of all, I didn't talk about Gary Oldman. Gary Oldman is brilliant in everything. I do not say I besmirched Gary Oldman. I will slap your teeth out of your mouth.
Like that, he should have. That was Oscar worthy.
We should talk about Bruce Willis in a glowing way, but we're not going to. But what I'm saying is that
he's being treated by Dr. Husel.
Now that he has alopecia, he can't act anymore. What I did here's Bruce Willis was Bruce Willis in every single movie, kind of like Stallone,
yes,
or Schwarzenegger. Like you just accepted.
Might have been
it.
typecasted a little bit.
Yeah, but it was like, Bruce, we need you to be a poet. Okay. And then we need you to be a mercenary. Okay. It's the same thing over and over. I'm okay with it to a point, but it's like, fool me a little bit. Like, do something different. Maybe they're not looking for that, but like when Stallone, remember when Stallone was like supposed to be a law? Can we talk about that movie sucks ass so bad in 1995, and then when you watch it today, you're like, this is bad. Rob Schneider,
yeah,
awful. The only reason that you see him on TV today is ranting about how Trump should still be in the White House. Other than that, nobody talks to Rob Schneider.
Except for Adam Sandler.
Adam Sandler's the most loyal person. Like, yeah, I know.
He's got friends.
He's still carting David Spade around. I heard David Spade is getting $50,000 at minimum to do stand-up comedy at like a Funny Bone or something like that.
He's got a podcast, so he's got...
Do you think it's a bad sign that we didn't know that David Spade had a podcast? Wait, I'm so glad you brought this up. See, this is why Nate having a microphone is not always a bad thing. 99% of the time, 100%. It's not a good idea. Jon Stewart, his show on Apple TV, first episode does 180,000 views.
Okay.
After just a couple weeks, it did 40,000 views.
Wow.
To compare those numbers, this show gets no views. So we're only 40,000 behind Jon Stewart. We could get there.
We absolutely could get there.
How bad is that?
One way or the other, either he keeps going down or we add a couple or maybe a bit of both.
Don't put the pressure on us to do something like this. Is not getting better. The content's always going to be this. But my point about that being that guy left as basically the Johnny Carson of late night, like doing what he did, right?
Yeah, he did.
He was
the best at what he did.
And when you lose an audience, so if you look at, when people look at movies, I don't know that they look at it as intently as most, like myself. A movie is going to lose 33% of it. I don't care if it's The Godfather. It's going to lose the second week 33% of his audience because the most promotion, everything else goes into it. Opening weekend is the big thing.
There's buzz, there's all that stuff, and then it
but if you lose 70% of your audience or more,
that's pretty dramatic.
They don't come back. It means they did a drive-by, didn't like it, and they're out.
With a show like that specifically, yes,
because you can't change it.
Yeah. You're
done. That's almost like we don't like the host and his content. Right. And what's driving that down is the conversation is the same thing.
It's like when our viewers went from 4 to 3. I mean, that's
well, that was my mom. She was like, "I'm not watching this shit anymore." But
damn it, Michael! If I'd have known you were involved,
I didn't mean to get into the murder of this show, but that's DLA. But go back to this doctor thing.
Yeah. So for those that are not from Columbus, Ohio, there was our modern day Dr. Kevorkian, Mr. Dr. William Husel, allegedly murdered 27 or 28 or 30. I don't know how many it was. It was a lot.
Big deal. Are we keeping track of these things?
I know, right? So he was allegedly overprescribing fentanyl to his patients that were terminally ill, causing their, we'll just say, rapid deterioration. He was brought up on charges. They threw out a lot of them, and they decided to pursue 14 charges of murder against this doctor.
And you only got to get him on one. Let's put that out there. If you get him on one, he's doing some jail time.
Exactly.
I'm just leading you up to where we're going.
Well, so this trial's been going on for a couple months, and today the jury finally came in with a verdict after 6 long days of deliberation and weighing the facts, and it was not guilty on every single count, and they didn't even include the option. Well, they included the option to charge him with a lesser crime, and they declined to convict him on that as well.
I believe the head of the jury, they just asked, "Do you want to do that?" And they said, "Nah, bro."
Yeah, I mean, the prosecution.
How bad are you? How bad are you?
Right, the guy.
You're over 14. You didn't get one.
You didn't get a single ounce of jail time out of this. This guy was the head physician caring for 20, upper 20s, lower 30s of people that died, and it's like, how is this happening?
That's gotta feel, when he leaves, he's gotta feel like OJ when he goes back and he's like, I didn't do anything wrong. Meanwhile, he's gonna kill someone tomorrow.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
That was stunning. We watched it live.
We literally watched it live, 30 minutes ago, and I'm still just shocked.
I'm excited to. Oh yes, I'm shocked too.
Excited,
I'm shocked.
Excited
I didn't know
to
where
have
you were
him on
going
the
with
show.
that. I jumped in a little too quickly. I apologize.
We should invite him on next time.
Can we get? I guarantee he's not going to be at a hospital doing any work. He's going to be available. But you know what? Then we have to set up a 4th microphone for him, and Nate hates when we do that.
Well, yeah. It does get a little cramped in here if we do.
Just don't take any pills he gives
Yeah,
you.
just make sure all your drinks.
That's
are
why
sealed.
we want him on here.
If he offers you a brownie, don't eat it.
Well, you did get some free brownies today because it's Nate's last day. We're moving locations of the show.
Yeah, which is exciting.
Yeah, we're going to be doing
miss
it.
the brick wall. But
We're going to be doing it outside of an old Central Hardware building on the south end. We'll be in that parking lot if anybody wants to see it. Well, let's go from somebody who is killing people here locally to the demented sex doll Joe Biden, our president, who's killing people globally. Is that a fair transition?
Hey, man, murder's murder.
Did you happen to catch when the Easter Bunny at the White House lawn had to cut him off from talking about this is no joke? Look this up, people. There's a person dressed as the Easter Bunny, and Biden stops to take questions from people that are standing there. And he starts talking about the foreign policy. And the bunny comes over with jazz hands and doing that to cut him. Like, look at me. I don't mean like he's 5 feet away. He's almost directly in his face without being in his face. Because this dude is on autopilot. And he will answer whatever you ask him. Now, it doesn't mean he knows that answer. But have you ever seen anything this dumb? Like,
man,
I don't even mean in
I don't even know
politics.
what's real anymore.
I don't either.
I mean, I can't fit my hand through this microphone, but
that was the best.
That happened. Like, what is going on, man? Like,
Zelensky is listen. I got a conspiracy theory. You boys know how much that we like to talk about.
We
that
love
here.
conspiracy theories. Does it have to do with Coles?
Call back.
We're not going into Coles because we went way down that rabbit hole and we almost didn't come back for 2 shows.
That's true. Sorry. Okay.
And the new location though, it's going to be Coles all the time. Sponsored by Coles. So Zelensky is saying Biden needs to come over here and show solidarity and show strength. And I feel like Biden goes over there and a piano falls from some building and ends his life. And they say, we've got to go. They kill the American president because that thing's not going so well. Remember the news reports? Russia's fatigued. They're getting pushed back. And meanwhile, I'm just coming out of the movie theater and I'm like, oh, what's on fire? All of Ukraine.
I shouldn't be laughing at that.
You should, because that was
horrible.
funny.
It is funny.
Nazi pricks.
Yeah, pretty much. So the interesting thing, the thing that I find fascinating is that, yes, Biden should not go over there, or he should, depending on which side of the fence you lean on.
I'll give him a ride as far as Cleveland.
Yeah, maybe he should. Maybe he shouldn't drink the water over there. My guess is Putin might have something to do with it. It might be a little
Putin's
special.
pooping in that water?
Yeah, you know he is. The old KGB going to come in.
Hey, for those people that don't know, Vladimir Putin came into power because somebody drank too much fluid in their own house that was poisoned with lead.
Well, yeah.
You don't have to win elections if you do that.
No, you don't. So, yeah, you got a guy here in Columbus killing people with fentanyl. You got Joe Biden bombing the Middle East. Still.
I guess it's safe to say.
Are we still dropping bombs in the Middle East?
God, yes. Why?
Why
Actually,
why would we stop?
I don't think we are, because the Taliban has been taking over all the places that we left, and then somebody else is dicking around with the Taliban and kicking it.
Probably.
So we literally, it's like when you watch ants fighting over a cube of sugar. It's like we left it there, and so nobody cares.
Yeah.
I mean, they're showing videos of women getting the shit kicked out of them, and now they can't go
to death. And that's horrific. Do you know how they do that, by the way? Like, they bury you up to your neck. And then people just throw rocks at your head.
Well, yeah, you want to do that because if the neck gets moved around too much, you're going to hurt yourself.
Well, no doubt.
You got to keep your head still.
Yeah.
It's like a boxing maneuver.
It's terrible.
I think it's rude that, first of all, we knew that when we left there, like I remember Barry, when he was the president, and he said, we got to stay there for the girls. We've got to stay there.
Yeah. Yeah. That's his.
Forever?
Well, you know what? I wonder if we finally got all the poppy that we could possibly get from them. That makes me wonder.
I'm going to go down that rabbit hole because I would love to.
Well, Ricky Freeway is my favorite subject, man.
So we're doing it. So people understand this. There are two things that come out of Afghanistan, and one of them, let's just say, is a pain reliever. Now, as my daughter one time asked me, because her teacher was all freaked out about Afghanistan and all that, and she said, she comes out of school and she says, aren't you afraid? And I go, afraid of what? She said, what's going on in Afghanistan? I go, boats. And she said, what do you mean? I go, until they get boats, I'm not worried about them.
They need lots and lots of boats.
So then it made me think, like, somebody's got to figure this out. How does Poppy get to the United States from Afghanistan when they don't have planes, right?
Well,
odd.
Yeah. C-130s can carry.
Who owns C-130s?
I have no idea.
I guess it doesn't say USAF on them, but either way. But this all goes back to when we joke about this, literally most of the time I just want you to look it up.
Yeah.
Because your government isn't looking out for you. And like when I said, my now new good friend Jimmy Dore.
That's right.
His entire show was that we shouldn't be mad at each other.
No, we should be mad at one common enemy.
Here's what I find interesting.
That's the tax man.
Yeah.
The IRS.
They
should be the first alphabet soup to go. And then the ATF, maybe.
You and I both have this stance, I believe, and I don't know about Nate because he fell asleep. But when I look at voting, it is the illusion of choice.
100%.
You have two candidates. Maybe you have a Libertarian or Green Party or whatever, and they are just there because it looks like we're giving you options.
Well, I don't think the Libertarians believe that to be true. I think they really do think that.
No. I think the Libertarians believe that.
Yeah, but the reality is that the man is pretending that you have options.
Are you talking about Mexican men?
No, no. They don't vote.
I don't see gender when you say the man.
Right. Sorry. Him.
Becky Lynch.
Him, she, then. Yes, Becky Lynch was the man. Becky Two Belts.
So they, I think they're trying to give you the illusion of choice, but at the same time, it's you're being puppeteered by both parties, right? I mean,
well, you're being puppeteered by outside corporate interests because you can't run for president unless you can raise roughly $300 million.
Right. And how do you raise $300 million on a servant's salary? Public servant.
Hey,
unless you already had it, like Donald Trump.
Well, that's true.
That is true. But I have a question. So I saw that Joe Biden's tax rate was 26.82% or something like that.
He's got a shitty CPA if that's the case.
And that was on $610,000 worth of income. So I was like, Well, where'd the other money come from? Because it's $400,000 to be the president. Okay,
Right.
that's fine. How do you have a $42 million
Dividends.
mansion? Well, here's the thing. How do you have a $42 million mansion?
Dividends
Oh.
from your Burisma
Oh,
stock. You weren't expecting that,
I
were
thought
you?
you meant the legit way.
No, God, no. How
The
the
big guy.
You can't have a $42 million mansion
Look,
and be legitimate. Give me a break.
well, that's what I was thinking because, when Nate and I are talking about properties around here in Columbus, and we're like, oh, $400,000 for that thing. Meanwhile, this guy's like, yeah, I'll buy this as my other house.
Right.
That's not his house. That's his other house.
Bernie Sanders has got 6 houses.
Why does Bernie Sanders have 6 houses?
The public servant who hates corporate interests.
I don't like
has 6
capitalism, but
houses.
I love real estate.
Right.
He's the guy that doesn't buy Monopoly, but he'll play anytime you've brought it over.
100%. Yeah. He's the guy smoking your weed.
That's right. Hey, man, are we getting high tonight?
Yeah.
As long as you brought it.
Yep.
And again, this is all just catch-all things, but these are all things that are kind of floating around the news. And I just thought we don't get a chance to talk about this much because we've all been busy. But I find it criminal to look at what's going on, and people are fighting over mandates and Twitter and all that other stuff. All of this is a distraction for the fact that you're getting boned, and you've been getting boned since the Patriot Act was put in place.
Oh, absolutely.
Because your freedoms are getting taken away more and more and more, but no candidate has said they will repeal that.
No. Yeah, I was talking to a prospective client the other day, and he was mad at his current advisor because this current advisor said something to the effect of, yeah, man, these oil prices are terrible. Thanks a lot to Putin. And the client's
What a
like,
fucking moron.
what the fuck did you just say? Like, you didn't see oil prices skyrocketing before?
They were going up January 7th, and all of a sudden it was Putin. I feel like they think that Putin was putting glue on all the stuff. Like, it just won't flow anymore. I can't do it.
Right? Unbelievable. But so the guy was pissed about it, and then I had to make a comment. I'm like, hey, listen, man, I know you're a pro-Trump person, and that's cool and all, but I'm all about the Second Amendment, and Trump was an asshole when it came to that. And he's like, yeah, now that you say that, I'm like, well,
And then he shot you.
Yeah. Then he tried to, he pulled out a shotgun, and no, this was by phone, so he didn't know where I'm at.
Well, I told him where all the ghost guns were.
Yeah, there you go.
It's stunning to me that when you're having conversations like that, like you used to be able to have those conversations.
Right.
Like you could say, like, you can't say anything bad about Obama. Right. So it's
No, he's got a Nobel Peace Prize
And a
for
kill list.
bombing the Middle East.
he killed so many 90% of the bombs that we let off in an 8-year period over there killed innocent people. But we don't care.
Accurate.
We don't care about that.
You know why we don't care? Boats.
Boats. That's my number one thing. I literally want to get a thing, just a shirt that says boats, and it's a map of Afghanistan.
God.
But people think that what a proud family and all that other stuff. You know why? Because we don't want to be yelled at for being called bigots or anything else, because you can't pick on them.
That's
you
the
can't,
catch-all, man.
But you can't pick on Joe Biden either, because he had a stutter when he grew up.
Well, and
his wife
he's,
died.
that's ageism.
Right. What I find amazing about it is the same people, especially politicians, are the ones that would say Donald Trump was fat. Like Nancy Pelosi's on television. Well, he's an obese man. We've got to worry about his weight. I want to know what's going on with your left eye. Like you got one headlight that's going down the road, and you got one that's looking directly at the pavement, and you're talking about somebody else. You haggard old bitch.
My favorite.
Don't
was
tell us how you really feel.
How much did she slam Florida, and how their response to COVID, and it's a horrible state. It's the most awful thing in the world. Oh, I'm also building a $25 million mansion there.
Yeah. I mean, this isn't a
if I were Ron DeSantis, I would make sure every fucking permit on her building that mansion got pulled and said, piss off, go build somewhere else.
I would just say, you know what? That's its own county, and that's the one place in Florida that's going to pay taxes, that area. I don't believe in any politician whatsoever. I mean, it's, again, you have to, I do believe that you have to vote.
Yeah. I mean, look, you
But
can't
you
complain
shouldn't
if you
think
don't
that-
vote. But you
Correct.
shouldn't think it's going to solve problems.
Right. It just perpetuates the problem. So
Yes.
you don't have a way out. You know what I
There
mean?
is a way out, though. but nobody will do it. You want to know how it is?
Come on.
Third party, baby.
Oh, here we go.
Listen, man, how many people do you know?
Listen, this fucking guy trying to run for office.
All right, how many times did you hear when you vote for XYZ, third party, Libertarian Party, Green Party, whoever, you're stealing votes from? How many times have you heard that?
Every election.
Every fucking election. Ross Perot got 19% of the vote. Next year, we got to change the rules, Ross. Sorry about that. Right?
I thought he was going to win.
Dude, I think if they hadn't changed the rules the next year.
Well, why did they change the rules?
Because it's the same. It's just a.
So wait a second.
Same animal.
I agree with you. I would like to see a third party. How do they fund it? That's your problem. Is big.
But yes, because the board is tilted against them, man. Like they can't raise the same amount.
But you see what I'm saying? So if the people said we want a third party, they'd say, no, you don't.
Exactly.
We know better than you what you need.
They already have. So now you have to have this is why I voted third party in 2016, because now you have to have, even to be part of the public funding, you have to get 5% of the vote in a national election. And I was hoping 2016 was it, but it didn't happen. And it got even worse in 2020. Like the third party, the Libertarian Party, got less votes than they did before.
Well, to be fair, though,
yeah.
when they're counting the votes after midnight and they've all been delivered by FedEx.
Yeah, and, when they push one button and it flipped to another one.
Listen, those things happen
right? No,
in Venezuela.
Happen. Yes.
What my bigger thing is this, is that I've said this to you many times. Who did I want to vote for? Now, I have always voted one way for the most part. Who did I want to vote for the most?
Donald Duck?
Yes.
Michelle Obama.
Tulsi Gabbard.
Yes.
Anti-war veteran.
That's not Democrat.
No, but
anti-war Democrat, they don't exist.
First of all, that was the first person I heard that wasn't, we're going to pull our troops out.
Right.
It was no more wars.
Right.
Now, we can't have that because BlackRock likes that money that they invest in helicopters and Lockheed Martin and all that other stuff.
General Dynamics.
We got to be at war all the time. When's the last time we weren't at war?
I don't remember.
And you'll never see it in your lifetime.
I don't think so.
I want to say in the mid-50s, we might have cooled some things off.
Yeah.
But we were still kind of involved in shit. Even the Cold War, we were still kind of involved in that.
Yeah.
We are a soccer mom that is divorced. We are constantly smoking, drinking a Red Bull, and we can't chill out for a minute because God forbid if we relax and have that Calgon moment and we go, hey man, maybe we can all get along. The purpose of government is
terrible.
War. But listen,
can you imagine the fallout?
You ever look at your kids and just think, what is this doing to you when you hear this news? Because as a kid, when you hear about war and bombs and death and all this, you grow up differently, as though that is
the norm.
Yes,
and it's acceptable, and it's not acceptable.
It never should have been acceptable. I understand why we got involved in World War I and World War II.
Yeah, I get that. And now they're setting up this whole Russia-Ukraine thing to be the same thing. I mean, it was immediate. As soon as one Russian soldier stepped foot across that line, it was all hands on deck. Be prepared for World War III, because Lockheed Martin CEO needs a new pair of shoes.
Right.
It's interesting how we went from a doctor in Columbus murdering people to Joe Biden and the former president who is Nobel Prize winning dropping bombs on the Middle East, and now we're talking about war in Russia.
This is normally how our conversations go anyway.
Show. That's a true story.
The only reason
it's like a live stream of consciousness.
Well, you know why I like to do this every once in a while is because this is the way we should. Have we ever had an argument in the 3 or 4 years we've known each other?
I don't recall that we ever have.
Because even if I don't disagree, or even if I disagree with what you're saying,
yeah,
you still have a right to say it.
Now we still talk about it.
Now, if I don't like it and I could walk away from it, there's no need for us to get into it. This is almost a demonstration of if you're just having reasonable conversation, and a lot of times we joke about these things because that's all you can do.
100%.
That's how it should be. I don't like to listen to conflict. I don't like to listen to people yell and scream because, again, you're not solving anything.
No.
And it's kind of like the libertarian thing. I don't agree 100% with everything they do, but you know what I like it is that is like that one glimmer of hope that maybe that's not the party, but maybe that changes things. I am here to see things change for the better.
Sure.
But if I could say anything about all that this is going on, all these things that sound so horrible and you can't believe it's happening, if there was a peaceful solution to all this, what could everybody do if they're working together instead of working in conflict against each other?
Do you know what I would really like to see? I think that another thing that could solve all of this is just let me buy an F-16. Lockheed Martin still keeps their profits. We don't have to go to war in another country. Just open it up for public purchase, man.
Oh, I see what you mean, like a car collector.
Yeah.
So
I would never want to actually use it.
I told you that I bid on a tank in Afghanistan, didn't I?
You did.
So it's on eBay. Yes, I did.
No. I mean, you did not tell me that.
Oh, I'm sorry. So I didn't know it was real. So it was
You thought it was like a 1/16th.
So it was going for $400,000. So or best offer. So I put in $3,400 because I thought at least they'd respond to me. Now I'm worried that they're going to chop my hand off or something. But what if I would have won? What if I would have? The problem was
how the hell do you get that?
Thank you. That was my. So then
again, they don't have boats.
Okay, boats. Boats. So I called a buddy of mine and I said, "Hey, I got a question." You know the buddy I called.
Yeah, I sure do.
And so I'm telling him the story and he goes, "Oh, so you just call this guy and they ship it over?" And I go, "What are you talking about, dude?" And he goes, "Yeah, man, if you get that thing," I go, "I did it as a joke." He had a way figured out to get it over.
He's like, seriously, we do it with lion heads all the time, man.
You know the guy I'm talking about.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
All right, that's it. But if anybody from Afghanistan still wants to sell me a tank, I'll go as high as $10,000. You've been listening to Broad Street Radio. We'll see you next week.